Wearing his now trademark green, almost combat fatigues, President Zelenskyy arrived here essentially to say thank you and more please to US President Biden.
American people have stood proudly with them, Democrats and Republicans, together with our allies in Europe and Japan and other places, to make sure you have the financial, humanitarian, and security assistance that is needed.
First of all, I really all my appreciation from my heart, from the hearts of Ukrainians, all Ukrainians.
It was quite a contrast to see him in his almost fatigue-like outfit in front of a fire with President Joe Biden. And the real reason for the visit is to say thank you, but also, let's face it, Ukraine is facing very tough winter. We've seen the Russian attacks on civilian infrastructure where people are shivering in the cold as Christmas approaches. And the war may resume, of course, in the spring in a full offensive. So they want to line up weapons deployed and more money, hopefully from Congress, not just the $2 billion or so that President Biden is giving, but tens of billions, 40 or so billion attached to a big spending bill here. As you know, there is a change of power here in the US Congress at the House of Representatives who hold the purse strings, and there has been some Republican members who say, look, America first, we shouldn't be paying other countries to fight foreign wars. There is some sympathy for Moscow, and all this is the realpolitik of American domestic politics in which Volodymyr Zelenskyy has to navigate. And so it's very important to grease the wheels with Congress, look people in the eye and tell them what is going on. So this is going to be a very interesting time for him. It's the White House, of course, is fully on board with him. There is a big question, though, about the American people about mission creep and the fact that it started with the supply of weapons and now essentially NATO maybe in a de facto war, a proxy war with Russia and their responses going forward. So all this is very complicated, but as you know, 300 days into this conflict, next year it'll be a year. It's a very important time for Ukraine, very important time for the US, and where this war goes now. What's really interesting here, very little talk about peace talks. Nathan King, CGTN, outside the White House.